Robert Scott Bell Show.
Doug Wead back on the Robert Scott Bell Show. Doug, welcome.
Hey, thanks for having me.
I am so thrilled about what's happening out there. Of course, we know that he's not going to get the love that he gets in the new media, but Ron Paul is winning delegates like, oh my gosh, Romney's got to be panicking.
Well, yesterday, as you may know, we swept 74% of the delegates in the congressional district conventions in Louisiana. That means when the state of Louisiana has their GOP state convention coming up in June, 74%, June 2nd, I believe it's in Shreveport, 74% of the delegates sitting on the floor will be Ron Paul delegates, and they will choose the delegates that go to Tampa for the Republican National Convention. So it's another real surprise coup for the Ron Paul campaign.
Well, an irate, tireless minority is proving itself to be a majority on the ground at a lot of these caucus states in the delegate selection, and even states that didn't have caucuses. So we're seeing like Minnesota, Iowa, Washington State, Minnesota. I mean, this is amazing. I think they said he needs 5 states to officially be on the ballot there should there be a brokered convention.
That's right. And Colorado and Nevada and Maine are also states where we're in contention. It's too bad we lost the battle in North Dakota. It's interesting. Some of our critics say, well, you're stealing these conventions because you didn't win the state primaries. But North Dakota is a very good example. We beat Romney in North Dakota, and yet Romney lawyers and parliamentarians and audiovisual people came in and basically stole the state convention from us. So we had a lot of delegates there on the floor, but they couldn't they couldn't vote for the delegation to the RNC because they pulled all the paper ballots, and our people didn't know what to do. Do we go up on stage and write their name on the screen because they were using big screens? And so we got outmaneuvered on that one. But most of them were doing very well, and it's quite a surprise insurgency.
Yeah, well, if Romney wants the Badlands of North Dakota, give it to him, he'll freeze. But we've got the warmth of Louisiana and many other states that are recognizing enough is enough. The status quo is not good. Establishment Republicans, establishment Democrats are not serving the interests of the American people. They've all been bought off by a sort of a fascistic culture in government where a global, let's say, corporate mentality, where there's an artificial creation of the state or an artificial creation that is beyond the state, now operates, controls, and we're ruled over by a bureaucratic oligarchy.
Well, it's almost like the lights come on for people who begin to see what's happening. We were quite taken by the large Hispanic following that Ron Paul has. For example, in Clark County, Nevada, we carried 52% of the Hispanic vote, and all the other candidates split the rest. And we talked to some of the voters and the delegates. We said, why, what's your interest in Ron Paul? What's the connection? And they said, some of them told us stories. They said, our family immigrated from El Salvador or from Guatemala or from Latin America, and we had corruption in those countries. And we came to America to find the American dream and to live out the American dream. And we got here and we realized there's corruption here, that the Federal Reserve creates all this new money at 0% interest for their buddies and for favored banks and corporations, and there's not a free market. And it shocked us. We weren't prepared for that. And the one man who's exposing it and pulling the curtain back on all of this is Dr. Ron Paul, and that's the attraction. It's the same as the young people who are attracted to Ron Paul. It's the fear of the loss of the American dream, that it's slipping away from us because of the corruption we're experiencing now in this country.
We're talking with Doug Wead, Senior Campaign Advisor to Ron Paul, and I've got him linked up, DougWead.com, as well as his WordPress blog, DougWead.wordpress.com, including some of his discussion about the delicate math that is making, let's say, the establishment Republicans very nervous. But there isn't a genuine groundswell of excitement for Mitt Romney. It's lacking. It's not like everybody in the Republican Party is going, well, if Ron Paul would just get out of the way, we'd all be Romneyholics suddenly.
Yeah, it's in fact it's even it's even worse than it seems. As you know, in one of the last Rasmussen polls, Ron Paul beats Barack Obama. Mitt Romney ties Barack Obama. And I guess the best illustration of what you just said is for now more than a year, the Mitt Romney campaign is sending out these promos asking for a $1 donation. Click here, and you make a $1 donation. Now, why would the Romney campaign want a $1 donation? And for this $1, you enter a sweepstakes where you can fly and be with the candidate and go out to dinner with him and be on the campaign trail with him, and you get all of these things if you're the winner, if you make this $1 donation and you're selected as the winner. So why? What's behind that? We know that it costs $8 to process a donation, which means that if someone makes a $1 donation, they lose $7 every time someone donates $1. So in processing the data and the reports to the FEC and all that's involved. So why would they lose all that money to get those $1 donations? And the answer is their FEC reports are horrible. They show just small groups of very wealthy people. This is the Goldman Sachs candidate, and the masses of people across the country don't support him. He can't pull that giant crowd compared to Ron Paul, and so it's embarrassing. They're actually spending money to try to get donations from small donors.
So Mitt Romney is now the lottery candidate. Sign up and be part of the Mitt Romney Lottery. You might win a dinner with him. And, of course, they might even throw in a gumball for you. But I don't know which was worth more, the penny or the gumball.
Well, the object, of course, is they're trying to attract small donors in diverse states so that when they file these FEC reports, as they do each quarter, they aren't so embarrassing, so they don't have Ron Paul beating them in the number of small donations. They want to show that they're not just the candidate of the big banks.
Well, it's going to be hard-pressed. They'll be hard-pressed to do that because, as we've covered here on this show, the major supporters of both Obama and Romney are pretty much the same all the way through from Goldman Sachs on down.
Yep, and Barclays and J.P. Morgan and Bank of America, and you're right. And it explains what happened in the debates when you have major companies who are the advertisers on these television networks. Their advertising dollars depend on the low-interest loans that they get from these major banks that are getting 0% interest loans from the Federal Reserve, and all of us are paying for it. That money comes from all of us, not just the middle class. It comes from the poor in diminished value of the dollar. So while the poor man says, well, I'm not paying any taxes. The government's paying everything for me. Every year when there's quantitative easing and there's an increase in this money supply, the dollar that goes to the poor man is diminished. And so we have had, ironically, under Barack Obama, the most liberal president ever in American history, we've had the greatest transfer of wealth from the rich, from the poor to the rich in American history. It's just the math has taken over, and this process is happening exponentially. It doesn't matter whether the president claims to be a conservative or a Democrat. The math has taken over.
Yes, well, as we're wrapping up here with you, Doug, obviously there's still a lot going on behind the scenes that the old media is not covering. Clearly, to me, Romney doesn't have this thing locked up yet.
No, he doesn't. He's likely to, and he can understand a lot of things can be undone retroactively. You could get to Tampa, and the majority of the delegates could just say, we're not going to recognize the delegation from the state of Louisiana, this Ron Paul delegation. There's all kinds of games that can be played, and that's why, but that could cost the election, too. So we have to be on our toes, and we appreciate all the help people are giving us.
Well, Doug, we appreciate you and what you're doing for Ron Paul. I hope we can check in as the campaign continues here.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Doug Wead. And we've got lots more healing. 25 horrible statistics that both Romney and Obama don't want you to know about the economy. Economic healing up next on The Robert Scott Bell Show after this.